What kind of message is coming down this cable here? What kind of message is the toggle object putting out? Well, let's cable it to the print object and find out. Lock the patch. And we find out, by looking in the max window here, that we get a 1 or a 0. If you think about it, that means that the metro must obviously understand the message 1, which must mean start the metro, and the message 0 must be understood by the metronome, and that must mean stop. Now, how do we know this? How do I know, or how do we know, or how would we know, or how would we find out that metro understands the message 1 and understands the message 2 and understands the message stop, but probably doesn't understand the message hello? There are 3 answers to this. The first one is to look in the help file, and help files are extremely important in Max MSP, and a lot of our creative program will in fact consist of opening help files and copying the useful bits out of them. To get help on Metro, I right-click on the Metro object, and you can see here we have Open Metro Help. If your mouse doesn't have a right button, then you can always do right-clicking by holding down the Control key on the Macintosh keyboard, and then using your single mouse button. So I'm holding down the Control key and clicking with the single mouse button, and that will work in any Mac program. That's exactly the same as using the right button mouse. So Open Metro Help, and here we see the Metro Help file, which is unfortunately just slightly too large for my screen. We can see here that an int, that's a number, an integer number, starts if it's non-zero, otherwise stops it. So in other words, any number at all, for instance a 1, will start the metronome, and a 0 will stop it. This doesn't tell us anything about, however, about our stop message. So to dig a little deeper, this is here, we go up here, Open Metro Reference. This actually takes us into the full reference manual for the object, and in here we can see everything that we can possibly find out about Metro, including the fact that it takes a message called stop in the left injet, which will stop the metronome. So that's the Metro reference and the Metro help file. The third way is new in Max 5, and this is extremely useful. You remember that if I hover my mouse, we get it over an inlet or an outlet, we get a help tag. While I'm hovering it there, if I just single click, we get this little box which pops up, which is extremely useful because this tells us all the messages which that metronome understands. And it actually gets better because if I actually click on one of these, it'll create that message for us. That's a bit confusing because it's created a button rather than a bang. Let me just do that again. If I click there, hang on a second, hover, click, then we can create, for instance, another stop message. So you'll also notice that once again, hovering there and clicking, we can open the metronome help file directly, and we can also hover there and click and open the metronome reference.